Good morning from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Friday. It is cloudy, a little bit breezy, high of 40 degrees today. It's probably right around there. Got rain yesterday. Yes, we did. And this morning, well, see, yeah, there we go. Finally a cock-a-doodle-doo. With the rain softens up the soil a little bit. So even though it's cold, I'm feeling a burst of energy. I already had it. I don't feel it anymore. But I dug up some daffodils. Let's go have a look. Yeah, they found the clumps of daffodils. Larry, Private Benjamin, little olive acre. Yeah, those are daffodils. Hey, Carol. Did you get some grubs and worms, Carol? Oh yeah, I dug up a bunch of rocks also. So yeah, in order to get the daffodils up or those iris daylilies I was digging up, they're all on top of those rocks. So in order to get under the daffodils, you got to get under the rock, and then you can pull up a big clump. Like, yeah, look at that big clump of daffodils. And, you know, I should have done this a month ago, but it is what it is. And I should be separating these, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to try to get them into the ground, and I can worry about separating them later. So what are there? One big clump, one giant clump, 3 or 4 more big clumps. And they came from basically right along this fence row. I had to move the fencing to get them up, but... And these are ones that I missed. I've gone through here and dug up hundreds of daffodils in this section already, but those I missed. And then these are, those I need to come back and get also. Those were the purple and gold irises. Those were pretty cool. So, and right in here is where I want to move these raised beds. I'll be moving that raised bed over a little bit, and yeah, and likewise. So now once I get rid of these, once I rehome those lilies, I will be able to place my raised beds on this side of the front yard anyway. Okay, now I'm just going to find somewhere and put those. And like I said, I'll come back to them next fall if I need to. But at least they get to live for another year or so, I hope. Are you going to be a boy or a girl? I'm guessing boy. How about you? Turn, look this way. Let me see your comb. Yeah, that's probably a girl. had a little project for a Friday morning, although it's afternoon now. Yeah, there's a pretty big time lapse in between bursts of energy for me. Got the daffodils. Got the daffodils out here. I already had a pile of rocks that that I had kicked into a pile when I was out here weed eating or whatever. I usually just, you know, the big ones on the surface after it got bulldozed. Yeah. So after it got bulldozed, there were rocks on the surface. I kicked them in a pile, and I just used them to build a little garden bed, just temporarily to help support those daffodils for this year. And now I know where those daffodils are. I can come back in the future, separate them out, and, you know, just flood the world with daffodils. Flood my world with daffodils, anyway. Okay, now I got 2 buckets full of daylilies. I still haven't figured out where to put. And it's not easy figuring out where I can put stuff, because I'm not done around the cabin, so I can't just start. Ooh, cardinal. Male cardinal. That's why I noticed the bright red. Anyway, I can't just start putting stuff wherever I want to right now because there's still so much up in the air. I can't plant around the cabin because there's still electrical wires to be buried and electrical poles to be moved, and yeah, and then I can't put anything in the path of the mobile home coming out of here. And so yeah, I'm kind of hamstrung a little bit on where I can locate stuff because of future things that are going to happen, and I don't like doing things twice. So yeah, whatever. I'm not complaining. I got 2.8 acres. You'd think I could find somewhere for them. Yeah, around a tree in front of big rocks so that the next time the bulldozer comes through here, I'll get lucky. All right, enough of that. On the other side of this little rock wall where I just planted the daffodils, I've got some wild garlic. There are a bunch of irises in here too, and probably some walking onions. That the wild garlic and the walking onions were gifted to me by Papa Pepper. So, and a bunch of irises in there. So I'm right around this tree, and I think they'll be safe in here until I decide to find them a new home. Alright, I'm out here in my front yard, right by where I just planted the daffodils. That's like the lowest spot on my property, and there's some more low spots over there. And I'm just out here by that's the private lane. And you can see a nice sized puddle left over from yesterday's rain. But, so this is a low spot that kind of runs out to the lane. But right in that area, yeah, those are a bunch of irises. And then there are more irises up in there to the right of this tree. And then that greenery in there, those are all lilies of some variety. Surprise lilies, hurricane lilies, spider lilies. I don't exactly remember. But a lot of lilies in there, a lot of irises here, and then behind this tree, behind the tree to the right, and over to that tree back there, there are a bunch more irises in there. This area was run over by a bulldozer, and it's going to get run over by a bulldozer again. Most likely, no guarantees, I don't know. But yeah, there are some, you know, you got to go through this area to get back to that area, and there's a tree right there hanging over my power line that we still want to get out after we move the power line. And anyway, there's just not a lot of places for me to put, you know, perennials yet. But in this area, I'd love to build a whole bunch of mounds and start doing tree guilds and berries and, you know, whatever can grow in a marshy area that, you know, retains water. So yeah, but I can't really get started on that until I'm done with, you know, running over it with the bulldozer. One egg has started to pip that I can see so far. Probably I'll give you an update in the next video. They're just now starting. Look at this tiny little egg. Look at that tiny little egg. And this is a jumbo. that might be a double yoker, but I'm not sure. And then that olive green one, it's kind of two-toned, which is cool, but that's a normal size egg you would get in a grocery store, and that's tiny and that one's huge. I love checking for eggs every day. Got another egg from number 2 today. It's not much bigger than that other tiny one, but yeah, number 2's been pumping them out like every other day. That's pretty good because she's no spring chicken anymore. You know, she was already here, and I've been here for 2 years and 3 or 4 months, and so she's probably 5. I don't know what her history is. I wish I did. Don't know what breed she is. I'm thinking, looking at her son, I would guess that she's got some game bird in her, you know, the kind that they use for chicken sports. Yeah, she's kind of feisty, but anyway, she's probably some kind of mutt. I've looked at all the breeds out there and she doesn't match any of them. So she's some kind of mutt. I'd guess she has some game bird in her, which are more wild and are more prone to go broody and raise chicks, which she does. So yeah, anyway, number 2. I wish I knew her full story, but she's fun. I'm gonna consider that a productive Friday. Yeah, it's like a never-ending patch of flowers out there. Never ending. And I thought I had all the daffodils dug up, but there were more little patches in there. Oh, but that's good. Now I'm one step further towards getting these raised beds put in place. I want to move them over that way. I want to leave a 3-foot gap in between them and a 3-foot gap, you know, in between them. And then do an arch over with like a 5 or 6 foot gap with a cattle panel arch over to another raised bed on the other side. And yeah, it's a big dream. I'm getting there step by step. It's this never-ending patch of flowers, man. I knew there were hundreds or thousands, definitely thousands. I've dug up hundreds of daffodils just by themselves, and all those daylilies, and now I got irises back there too, but at least now I got them out of that where I just dug up the daffodils. Now I can at least start on one side of the raised bed garden, getting those raised beds fortified with some of those boards that Pine Knot Family Farm gave me, which are under those things, and those have already been bent so that I can create more raised beds out of that. And yeah, and all I'm doing is digging up a never-ending patch of flowers. I'll get there. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. I'll see you when I see you with an update of the baby chicks that one of them's pipped, and so I'll be going in there every 15 minutes all night long. Take her easy, everybody.